Welcome back to Nigeria at 56, recursive, resilient, and rising. Now, time for us to take a look at some more of your comments other than the ones you've seen at the bottom of your screen. And Innie Thompson has more of that.
Thank you so much, Chamberlain. Good evening and welcome to this segment. Well, this is just a little bit of your comments. Well, we'll start with Isaac from Benue State. And Isaac says that the president's speech was well articulated, but how soon are we coming out of this recession? When will that be? And if I may ask again, what exactly can we say is responsible for the recession? Well, thank God we're going to discuss the economy next, so I think Isaac can get a lot of answers to his questions. The next mail we are taking is from Godwin. He says that the present system and style of leadership is grinding the nation to a halt. The government needs to negotiate with all aggrieved Nigerians elite who are behind the Avengers. When the government says they want to create jobs, it should be holistic, inclusive of the 36 states in Nigeria. Well, that's Godwin's opinion. And then we go to Delta State, where Bright Okonkwo says, my question is, at what point did Nigeria miss its part to a successful nation? Because history tells us of how vibrant the nation was. Well, this is a lot of pondering. And then happy independence to all Nigerians at 56. We are still united despite the challenges facing us as a nation. God bless Nigeria. That's from Peter Lings from Lagos. And then there reportedly was dissatisfaction in the land in the period leading to the first coup of 1966, despite the presence of the respected Nigerians as leaders of the regions and the country. This is the reason given by the coup plotters. Why was this? Well, this sounds more like examination going back to school. Well, that's from Abimbola Sojim. Leaving a big question there. And then the final one we can take for now is from Kano. Said Mohammed says, the current economic crisis that has led to low revenue generation has exposed these political units as invisible. There's therefore need to restructure the units with a view to making them more independent and self-sustaining. That's from Said Mohammed from Kano. Talking about restructuring the economy, well, I think we're going to take some of your responses to these questions later on before the program comes to an end. Well, back to you guys.
Well, thank you, Innie Thompson. Well, let's talk about what a lot of people want to see, if not immediate solutions to. And we'll let Harriet do us the honors. Harriet.
Well, thank you so much, Chamberlain. So this evening, of course, we've had a number of issues that we're focused on. We're turning our attention now to the economy. And that was the first thing the president spoke about when he started his speech today, October 1. He talked about the economy being topmost on our plates. And so joining us now to talk about the economy are three distinguished guests. I'll start with Dr. Obadiah Mailafia, who is a development economist, a public finance expert, and international development official with 28 years of experience that has taken him through much of Africa, Europe, the Caribbean, and the Pacific Islands. Dr. Mailafia, of course, is also a former Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Good evening to you, and thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you.
Sitting very close to me is Mr. Bukar Kyari. He's the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Central Securities Clearance System, and he's also the President Chairman of one of the think tanks we have here in Lagos, the Nigeria Economic Summit Group. Good evening to you, and thank you so much for joining us as well.
Good evening, Harriet.
And to my far left is an economist, a columnist, and an industrialist. He's also a renowned critic of banking reforms, Mr. Henry Boyo. It's a pleasure to have you join us on the program this evening. So, Nigeria at 56, we're battling one of the biggest challenges ever. We're in a recession. It started as far back as 2 years ago. A lot of comments, a lot from the industrialists, from economists, about the fact that we are heading towards a recession seemed not to have been taken into cognizance. Mr. Kyari, I'll start with you. It was a progression for us to get to this stage. But do you think Nigeria as an economy at crossroads, do you think it could have been avoided?
Not with the behavior that existed before we went into the trouble. I mean, if you keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result, then it's a sign of not be having the right faculty up there. The way and manner in which we had conducted ourselves over the last, I don't know, 10, 15 years. In fact, you can go as far back as when we stopped those 5-year national development plans, etc., we have fundamentally, turned into a consumer nation where we are more like the children of the wealthy, right? We are picking things from the ground and selling. Literally, that was what we were doing. And with the population growing, with complexities happening globally, you are not even building or making the tiniest of basic commodities or products. And that's actually a sign that down the road, anyone would have predicted something more dire than where we found ourselves.
So, Dr. Emefiele, for you, taking a look at the strategies in place, and as a former Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, do you think, particularly for the monetary policies, do you think we're on the right track?
Well, before I answer, if you don't mind, just to say commendations to Channels and the team for putting all this together. And the South African senior official told me that Channels is the best broadcaster in Africa. And
thank you.
Kudos to you. Really, he said that, and I was quite pleasantly surprised. And so, well done. This is a great program, and for such an occasion. Well, there are challenges, obviously, and there needs to be greater coordination between the fiscal side and the monetary side. Right now, as we speak, we are facing not just a recession, we are facing what looks even like a stagflation situation.
Okay, Dr. Emefiele, pardon me, I hate to do this, but we have to hit a commercial break. We'll be back in just a moment to let you conclude your thoughts on that one. Do join us again.